Ontario Premier Doug Ford has faced months of calls to create a provincial program for paid sick leave. Today he's bending a little, offering a compromise. His government won't implement its own program, but says it would pay to double the federal sickness benefit for Ontarians from $500 a week to $1,000 a week. The feds, though, as you heard there, say it's up to provinces to work with businesses to offer paid sick days. In the meantime, thousands of workers have to choose between going to work sick or losing pay. Rechev Browne is a grocery store employee from Toronto. He joins us now. Hi, Mr. Browne. Good to see you again. Thank you for making the time.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
If for one moment, even though it's a political show, I put the politics of this aside, I just wanted to ask from your perspective, as someone who has worked, not in their home, but at a store every day of this pandemic, what does sick days mean to you? Like how significant do you think it would be if you and your coworkers could stay home, make sure you still get paid if you felt ill?
Well, I mean, it would be a game changer for us. It would be a game changer for the province, for the country, because a lot of the times some people might be experiencing symptoms, but then because they don't want to lose 2 weeks pay, which for them could equal rent, could equal food for 2 weeks, we tend to still go into work feeling sick. So having paid sick days would give us the time that we need to stay at home and get well, so we're not out there like infecting other people. So it would be a game changer for us.
And what is the situation right now, at least from your perspective? Is it that, like, do you get any paid sick days? Do you get a few? Are you able to access the federal benefit? Do you feel like there's too many constraints on that? Like, what are you able to get if you do feel ill?
There's a lot of constraints on accessing the federal benefit. I right now currently do not have any paid time off. Even though I work in a unionized workplace, I still don't have any paid time off. And yeah, the federal benefit, sometimes you apply for it. I know a lot of people have applied for it, and by the time you get it, it's already too late. Like, it doesn't happen soon enough, right? Having paid sick days legislated, paid by the employer, is almost instantaneously. You get it on your next paycheck, and that changes everything.
And why does that change everything? Is it because, the idea of waiting 5 days, for example, to get paid is just not tenable for many people?
It's not, because your landlord's still going to be requesting your rent. If you have a family to feed, your kids are still going to be expected to be fed. So we're already in a situation where we're working precarious, low-income jobs. So for us, the fear of just losing a day's pay, just imagine 14 days, right? It's too much for us to bear. To our mental psyche. We're already going out every day to work. In a pandemic, we haven't been able to take any time off. Since the start of this, we've been constantly going. So it's everything for us.
What has it been like for you to, be in that situation for the duration of the pandemic? What do you think our viewers should know about that?
I think the viewers should know that it's not a good situation to be in, especially for me. I take the bus, so there's always constant fear of me contracting COVID, whether through my commute, whether through when customers come in the store. Statistics have shown that workplaces that have been kept open, essential workplaces, are now one of the places where you're most at risk to contracting COVID. So it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary.
And so with that in mind, I know that you watch the politics of this too, and you've seen the back and forth between the provincial government and the federal government. What goes through your mind when you see that?
A lot goes through my mind, because there's a lot of, who do you, and I don't even want to use the word blame, but who do we hold responsible? Who is to be held accountable for this? We all know in Canada, based on our system, that healthcare, education, all that stuff is up to the provincial government. So I can't understand why the provincial government keeps trying to make it a federal issue. No, it's not. It's a provincial issue where the provincial government needs to legislate paid sick days. Employer paid. We're not even asking for them to pay for it, but we're asking for them to work with our employers who have deemed us as essential to provide us paid sick days, so we could take the time off to get through this pandemic, to stay healthy, so that we could essentially come to work.
I know you don't in particular work for, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like a small independent business. But there is concern from those types of businesses that they would have to shoulder a cost that they can't afford at this time. Do you think, what do you make of that? What do you say in response to that? And obviously it might be a different set of considerations for bigger businesses that certainly, like you say, have deemed people like you to be essential.
Well, there's a lot of different perspective to this, and I totally get it where the small businesses are coming from. But this is not about that. This is about raising the floor for all workers in Ontario, right? We've seen our minimum wage being held back, from being $15, being kept at 14. We've pushed for paid sick days. We're not even getting a budge on that, and it's just about raising the floor for all workers in Ontario so that we can have some decency. Even with the debate, a lot of the big companies have been making a lot of money throughout this whole pandemic, where smaller businesses have been having to keep their doors shut, right? Well, they essentially sell the same items. So there's a lot to this debate, and this is all done by the provincial government. So there's a lot to this debate, but we're just trying to raise the floor by asking for paid sick days for workers in big corporations and for workers in small businesses. That's all we're trying to do here.
Okay, Mr. Browne, I'll leave it there. I appreciate your perspective, and certainly, I'm sure I speak on behalf of our viewers. We appreciate your work during this pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.